Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsav Parekh and I'll take you through the top 50 stories of the day. Let's begin. US President Joe Biden has arrived in Japan. He's all set to attend the Group of Seven Leaders Summit in Hiroshima. Biden already met Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. China is set to be one of the top topics of discussion at the summit. This comes as the US continues to urge its allies to come together to counter China's dominance in the semiconductor industry. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida held a bilateral meeting with his Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni. This came a day before the G7 Leaders Summit kicks off in Hiroshima. Kishida and Meloni agreed to deepen their ties. Italy will take over the G7 presidency from Japan in 2024. Moving on to the war in Ukraine, air raid alerts have been issued across the country. The military has warned of strikes in Kyiv and other regions. Residents of Kyiv have been asked to remain in shelters. The country's military has reported cruise missile attacks in the central region of Vinnytsia. This comes a day after Russia launched what Ukraine called an exceptional attack on its territory. Russia has agreed to extend the Black Sea grain deal for 60 days. The deal allows Ukraine to export its grain safely across the Black Sea despite the ongoing war. It was brokered by Turkey and the United Nations last year. A Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said that the grain deal has been extended to help countries in need. However, she added that Russia's overall assessment of the situation regarding the deal has not changed. Earlier, Russia threatened to quit the agreement if certain Western sanctions were not removed. Moldova is no longer using Russian natural gas or electricity. This comes as the former Soviet nation has been cutting its dependence on Russia since the Ukraine war began. The country's Prime Minister, Dorin Rekin, said, and I quote, "If at the start of the war 100% of energy consumed in Moldova originated in Russia, today Moldova can exist without it." He reiterated that the country is integrated in the European energy market, both technically and commercially. The leader of Thailand's Move Forward party has expressed confidence at becoming the next prime minister. This comes after the junta-appointed senators said they will block his appointment. The Move Forward party emerged as the winning party at Sunday's election. However, the junta-backed parties were defeated. Leaders of the Move Forward party are in the process of forming a coalition. The opposition holds 313 seats out of 500 in the lower house. In the US, fresh reports say Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will soon enter the 2024 presidential race. He's likely to file paperwork declaring his candidacy on May 25th. DeSantis is widely viewed as the strongest potential Republican challenger to former US President Donald Trump. However, the latest opinion polls say that DeSantis' popularity has been shrinking. Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan says that he fears another arrest. Yesterday, he claimed that the police had surrounded his house in the city of Lahore. Khan has alleged that his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party members are being targeted to prevent them from forming the next government. Meanwhile, Pakistan's National Accountability Bureau has summoned Khan and his wife for questioning in the Al-Qadir Trust case. Ecuador says that a presidential election will be held in 90 days. This comes after the country's president, Guillermo Lasso, dissolved the National Assembly. Lasso is facing the looming threat of impeachment. The latest developments could trigger protests in the country that's already facing a fragile security situation. Soybean and sugarcane producers have blocked a major highway in Bolivia. This comes in protest against diesel shortages. The government in Bolivia is trying to control the smuggling of fuel. To ensure this, the government has implemented decrees that reduce fuel sales to big buyers. However, farmers feel that they're the ones bearing the brunt of the government's move. Thousands of protesters are gathered outside government houses in Argentina's Buenos Aires. The protesters demanded better wages and jobs. This comes as the country grapples with an annual inflation rate exceeding 100%. At least 9 people were killed as flash floods hit parts of northern Italy. Torrential rain has battered the country's Emilia-Romagna region. Thousands of people have been rescued from Italy's flooded towns. In the Balkans, the overflowing Una River flooded parts of northwestern Bosnia. Bosnian authorities announced a state of emergency after hundreds of homes were affected by the floods. Days of torrential rain caused the water levels of the Una River to rise by 4 meters and then burst its bank. Heavy seasonal rains have caused widespread flooding in the East African nation of Somalia. The Shabelle River burst its banks and submerged nearby towns. Disaster management agencies estimate that the floods have displaced over 250,000 families. A severe heat wave has led to water shortages in India's Maharashtra state. Temperatures are crossing 40 degrees Celsius, drying up wells, reservoirs and rivers. Meanwhile, local governments are using water tankers to supply water in the affected areas. South and Southeast Asia are experiencing record-breaking heat waves this year. According to researchers, India, Bangladesh, Laos and Thailand have experienced severe heat waves in April owing to climate change. Bangladesh recorded its hottest April in over 50 years. Scientists suggest that the heat waves were made, quote-unquote, 30 times more likely because of human-induced climate change. The study stated that humidity contributed to the intensity of the heat waves. It raised the heat index in some regions to extremely dangerous levels. According to climate scientists, global temperatures are likely to rise by 1.5 degrees Celsius within the next 5 years. One of the main factors for rising temperatures is the El Niño weather pattern. El Niño is the unusual warming of the Pacific Ocean's surface waters. Warmer Pacific waters mean heat from the atmosphere above the oceans raises global temperatures. A new study is saying that greenhouse gases have already impacted climate patterns in the Pacific. This is making the El Niño and La Nina weather events more severe. We mentioned how temperatures rise during the El Niño. During La Nina, Pacific Ocean's surface temperature drops, lowering global temperatures. Scientists are suggesting that adverse El Niño and La Nina events would threaten food supplies, spread diseases, and impact societies. In Peru, land subsidence destroyed at least 4 homes in one of the northern districts. A landslide caused the land to cave in, destroying homes and cars. Local authorities suspect the landslide was caused due to construction activities. Construction at a nearby tunnel was suspended after the landslide struck. Water companies in England are apologizing for repeated sewage spills. They've pledged to invest over $12 billion over a decade to reduce polluting seas and rivers. The companies will also modernize their sewers, which have a history of overflowing into England's waterways. In 2022, 300,000 incidents of sewage pollution were reported across England. Montana has become the first US state to completely ban TikTok. This is scheduled to take effect from January 1st next year. Both Republican and Democratic lawmakers have raised concerns over TikTok's potential threat to national security. There are a growing number of American states that have banned TikTok on government devices. The UK's telecommunication giant BT Group has said that it will cut about 40,000 to 55,000 jobs between 2028 and 2030. The layoffs will include both direct BT employees and third-party workers. With this, the company's workforce will be reduced by 31 to 42%. BT Group's chief executive has said that the company will digitize the way it works and simplify the structure. Facebook's parent company Meta is likely to face fines from the European Union. This is in relation to transfer of data belonging to Facebook's EU users to US servers. The EU court says that Meta failed to comply with a warning. The penalty is likely to be more than $800 million that was imposed on Amazon. In 2020, Europe's highest court declared an EU-US data transfer agreement invalid, citing concerns over surveillance activities. Amazon Web Services has announced its commitment to invest over $12 billion into India's cloud infrastructure by 2030. This is in its efforts to meet growing customer demand for cloud services. Between 2016 and 2022, Amazon invested over $3 billion. By 2030, Amazon's total investment in India will be over $16 billion. The Australian arm of crypto exchange Binance has said that some customers will be unable to deposit or withdraw money. This comes after a third-party service provider cut off its service. The company earlier said that it had blocked some cryptocurrency payments to reduce losses due to scams. In March, Binance and its founder were sued by a US body for operating what it called an illegal exchange. A recent poll shows that a majority of Americans believe that the rise of artificial intelligence could put humanity's future under threat. The poll was conducted by Reuters and Ipsos. It found that 61% of Americans consider AI to be a potential threat to civilization. Over two-thirds of respondents said that they're anxious about the adverse effects of AI. Deutsche Bank has said it will pay $75 million to settle a litigation related to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The litigation says that the German lender financially benefited from supporting Epstein's sex trafficking schemes. Epstein was an American financier who killed himself in 2019 while awaiting a trial for his sex crimes. He began banking with Deutsche Bank in 2013 after JP Morgan Chase closed his accounts. US-based company Micron Technology has planned to invest over $3 billion in extreme ultraviolet technology. This will be done over the next few years with support from the Japanese government. The latest EUV chip-making machines will be used to make 1-gamma chips. Micron will be the first semiconductor company to bring EUV technology to Japan. US-based crypto lender Voyager Digital has said that customers will recover about 35% of their cryptocurrency deposits. This comes as the company winds down its operations after a failed buyout attempt by crypto exchange Binance. Voyager filed for bankruptcy protection in July last year. It cited instability in cryptocurrency markets behind the move. The World Bank has said that 6 Pacific countries are at high risk of debt distress. This is in part due to the government spending during COVID-19. The reports say fiscal consolidation is needed in Kiribati, the Republic of the Marshall Islands, the Federated States of Micronesia, Samoa, Tonga, and Tuvalu. This is because these companies lack domestic debt markets and access to international capital markets. In sports, Delhi Capitals beat Punjab Kings by 15 runs in yesterday's high-scoring IPL match. The game was played at the Himachal Pradesh Cricket Association Stadium in Dharamshala city. Thousands of spectators thronged to the stadium as the city was hosting an IPL match after a decade. Delhi Capitals scored 213 runs in their 20 overs. Riley Russo led Delhi's batting attack with an unbeaten 82 in just 37 balls. Punjab's Liam Livingstone scored 94 runs but failed to secure the win for his side. In football, FIFA launched the official brand of World Cup 2026. Canada, Mexico and America will host the World Cup as joint hosts. To overcome the challenge of time zones, climate and distances, FIFA has created regional clusters to ease travel. This means during the group stage, countries will play their matches in one of the three host countries depending on their assigned pool. They will play all their games in the assigned country until the knockout stage begins. Manchester City thrashed Real Madrid to enter the UEFA Champions League final. City beat Madrid 4-0 as fans at the Etihad Stadium went wild. Bernardo Silva scored twice in the first half. Manuel Akanji and Julian Alvarez added to City's tally with goals in the second half. On aggregate, City beat Madrid 5-1 over the course of two legs. Manchester City will be up against Inter Milan in the Champions League finals, which are scheduled for June. The bid to buy Manchester United is heating up. Qatari Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani has offered to buy a 100% stake in the club for over $6 billion. The Sheikh's final offer comes as an attempt to see off his main rival, Britain's petrochemical billionaire Sir Jim Ratcliffe. However, Sheikh Jassim's offer falls short of the $7.5 billion asking price set by current owners, the Glazer family. In tennis, Holger Rune sent Novak Djokovic tumbling out of the Italian Open. 7th seed Rune beat defending champion Djokovic 6-2, 4-6, 6-2 in an epic battle to advance to the semis in Rome. The Danish player showcased his aggressive style mixed with delicate drops to outclass Djokovic. In Formula One, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix has been called off due to extreme weather conditions in northern Italy. Remember, at least 9 people have been killed in flash floods in the region. The Formula One race was scheduled to be held on Sunday. It would have been the 6th race this season and the first in Europe. A Florida judge has ruled in favor of Tiger Woods in his dispute against ex-girlfriend Erica Herman. Herman had accused the golfer of sexual harassment after a messy breakup. The judge ruled that Herman had failed to provide evidence for the alleged sexual harassment claim. In archery, India's men's and women's compound teams crashed out of the ongoing World Cup. The second leg of the World Cup is being held in China's Shanghai city. The men's recurve team lost the quarterfinals to heavyweights South Korea 0-6. Meanwhile, the women's team lost to lower-seeded Indonesia 1-5 in a one-sided affair. In basketball, Miami Heat beat Boston Celtics 123-116 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Miami's Jimmy Butler scored 35 points as his team rallied in the second half to beat Boston. Jason Tatum led the Celtics with 30 points, but the Heat defense did not allow him to take a single shot in the fourth quarter. 8th seed Miami have opened all 3 playoff series with road victories. Rugby's world governing body has suspended Sri Lanka from all matches and tournaments. The ban comes after Sri Lankan rugby officials breached laws relating to political interference. However, the World Rugby Body has agreed to work with players so they can resume playing as soon as possible. Rugby is the second most popular sport in the island nation after cricket. In the world of entertainment, American entertainer John Wick Chapter 4 is set to stream on Netflix. The movie is scheduled to arrive digitally on May 24th. It was initially believed that the movie will be available on Lionsgate Play. The film is the 4th installment and highest grossing movie in the John Wick franchise. Veteran actor Al Pacino is set to feature in the upcoming movie Assassination. Viggo Mortensen and John Travolta will also be roped in for the project. The film story is based around the murder of former US President John F. Kennedy. The movie will start production in Canada's Vancouver in September. Sony Pictures Entertainment India has announced that the upcoming movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will make its debut in Indian theatres on June 1st. The movie will release a day earlier in India than its planned release in the US. Indian cricketer Shubman Gill has lent his voice to Indian Spider-Man called Pavitra Prabhakar. The latest offering is set over a year after the events of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Actor Eddie Murphy is currently in talks to star as Inspector Clouseau in the upcoming Pink Panther film. The reboot of the classic film will be helmed by Sonic the Hedgehog filmmaker Jeff Fowler. Murphy is best known for his performances in comedy classics like The Nutty Professor and Coming to America. The official release date of the film is still awaited. Netflix's Sex Education is one step closer to returning to screens. The beloved dramedy series will premiere its fourth season in autumn this year. However, a more specific month and date window has yet to be announced. Before season 4 went into production, a handful of cast members bid farewell to the show. Bridgerton star Simone Ashley, Tanya Reynolds, Patricia Allison and Rakhi Thakur all departed the series. Streaming service Hulu has ordered 20 more episodes of the hit reality TV show The Kardashians. The renewal was announced shortly before the premiere of Season 3 of the show. The show's Season 3 is set to debut on Hulu on May 25th. Kim, Chloe, Courtney and Chris are all serving as executive producers on the show. Loki fans have eagerly awaited the return of the God of Mischief ever since Marvel Studios confirmed its second season. Loki Season 2 is set to premiere on Disney Plus on October 6th. The mystery action drama show holds an impressive 92% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It's the second highest rated MCU series on Disney Plus, followed by Miss Marvel. Singer-actor Selena Gomez will be seen showcasing her hosting skills via new food shows. American television channel Food Network has ordered 2 new series hosted by Gomez as part of its upcoming programming slate. One of the projects will feature Gomez meeting up with some of the best chefs in the country in a quest to cook their most popular dishes when she visits their kitchens. Details about Gomez's second show are being kept under wraps by the network. A US judge has dismissed another lawsuit against British singer Ed Sheeran. The lawsuit also accused him of copying Marvin Gaye's classic Let's Get It On. This is Sheeran's second victory, as a federal judge previously dismissed a different copyright case over the same song. Both the recent verdict and the latest ruling can still be appealed. Meanwhile, a separate case based on a different copyright claim related to Gaye's recorded version of Let's Get It On is still pending. Ubisoft has announced an October 2023 release for its iconic game Assassin's Creed Mirage. The game will release across PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One and the PC. Assassin's Creed Mirage will take place in the late 9th century in Baghdad. It will star fan-favorite character Basim from Assassin's Creed Valhalla and is set 20 years before that game. That's a wrap for today's episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.